Raise your hand if this has happened to you today. You're in the middle of work, you're knocking things off the to-do list, getting stuff done, and your kid asks you to play. Do you drop everything? Do you ask them to wait a minute? What do you do? If you're like me, you don't always say yes right away. The kid moves on, you get busy, and you forget to circle back around and play. An opportunity to make a memory has been lost, and the dad guilt settles in. Not so anymore. I've developed a simple game that will enable you to take those small moments and have fun. It's called Dad's Adventure Dice Digital Edition. My 5-year-old daughter asks me nearly every day, "Can we do Dad Adventure Dice?" What follows are some quick rolls of the dice that lead to a fun activity with an intriguing twist. Within 5 or 10 minutes, we've had a lot of fun, shared a lot of laughter, and made a memory together. Download your own Dad's Adventure Dice today. Visit store.adventures.dad to download yours. That's store.adventure.dad to download Dad's Adventure Dice. Sometimes, as a dad, you need to teach your kids to fall. Sometimes they can be a little bit afraid. Sometimes they can be hesitant to take a chance or to take a risk. And it's your job as a dad to push them out of their comfort zone just a little bit and help them to fall. Teach them how to fall and get back up again. I'm Aaron, a dad of 4 and host of the Dad Ventures podcast. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe or follow button. And if this episode resonates with you, I would really appreciate you leaving a rating or review and also sharing this episode with a fellow dad friend. I have a story for you today. This story happened just last night at the playground. While one of my sons was having soccer practice, the rest of the kids were playing around the park and the playground. And my 5-year-old daughter asked me to come play with her on the playground. And I went over there and I said, well, I'm a little bit too big. I can't fit in all of these slides. And she said, no. I want you to hold me while I do the monkey bars. And I was like, okay, don't you think you're old enough to do these on your own? She said, no, I can't do these on my own. I'm going to fall and land on my bottom again. You see, last year she had tried to do some monkey bars at another park around our house. These monkey bars were a little bit higher off the ground. And she tried to do them on her own, and she did fall, and she landed right square on her bottom. And she didn't want to do that again. So she wanted me to hold her so that she could go across the monkey bars without falling. She's been pretty nervous and tepid about the monkey bars ever since that last fall. So I decided, okay, I'll help you, but I wanted to take a scaffolding approach. I didn't want to be holding her as she did monkey bars for the rest of her life, since that's a pretty key skill that kids need growing up. But I didn't want to be holding her for the rest of her life as she did monkey bars. So I kind of took a scaffolding approach, meaning like I'd help her a little bit and then pull back. And every single time she would try to go across, I'd try to help her a little bit less. But she was still so nervous and deathly afraid of the monkey bars. She didn't want to go too far. She'd go maybe 1 or 2 bars in and then just kind of be like, I don't want to do this. Get me down. But I pointed out to her that when her feet are down, when she's hanging from the bar, her feet are really only a few inches from the ground, and that if she fell, she would land right on her feet, almost as if she were just standing up, and she would be just fine. But she didn't believe me. So I let her fall. I let her fall just once. It was a controlled fall, but she landed on her feet. And as soon as she realized that if she fell, she could land on her feet and she'd be okay, everything changed. Her whole attitude was different. Suddenly, she was aware that the most likely worst thing that could happen actually wasn't so bad and that she could handle it on her own. So now, all independent and by herself, she started to go across the monkey bars all on her own. She would go about 3 bars and then fall. But try again. 4 bars. Fall. Try again. I took a few steps back and watching from the edge of the playground, and she kept going. She'd go a bit further, fall, and try again. Only once did she actually fall pretty hard, where her hands actually had to kind of reach out and her hands hit the ground to help her save her from her fall. The playground park gave her just a tiny little scrape inside of her palms. There was a little bit of blood, and she cried, but only for about a minute. She got back on and kept trying. So sometimes as dads, we need to teach our kids to fall. Too often our kids are too afraid to take a chance or to risk something. It's our job to teach them to fall. That falls to you and me as a dad. To show them that even if they fall, they can get back up and try again and again and again. Within 20 minutes of practicing, my daughter could go all the way across the monkey bars all on her own. She was so proud that she pulled her mom over to watch her cross the bars all by herself. So, Dad, I encourage you to push your children a little bit. Get them out of their comfort zone. Help them to take calculated risks. If they are afraid, then teach them to fall. Teach them to fall, get back up, and try again. I'd love to hear your success stories in teaching your kids to fall. Shoot me an email at aaron@adventures.dad with your story of how you've taught your kids how to fall. Thank you for letting me join you on your quest to make more epic memories with your kids. Until next time, keep the laughter, fun, and falls flowing.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you'll enjoy the Girl Dad Discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe the relationship between a daughter and her father is one of the most important relationships a young lady can have. And therefore, my mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by sharing the voices of girl dads to the world. So check out our podcast on every platform where podcasts can be listened to. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel. Again, that's the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with your host, Ernest James.